You know that friend, right? The one who seems to have this almost terrifying sixth sense.
Oh, absolutely. We all have that friend.
You're at a dinner party, the music's going, everyone's laughing, everything seems totally normal,
Yep.
and they just lean over, under all the noise and whisper, "That guy over there, he's about to leave."
Or something like, she's absolutely lying about that vacation.
Exactly. And you look at them like they're completely crazy. But then, 5 minutes later, boom,
The guy grabs his coat.
the guy grabs his coat and leaves. Or the truth about the trip comes out. It feels like magic. It really does. It feels like they have a superpower that the rest of us just, I don't know, missed out on.
It does feel like a superpower. It's that sensation of looking at someone who can seemingly peer right through the social mask.
The polite nodding, the fake smiles.
All of it. And they see the gears turning underneath. It
Hmm.
feels like it's only accessible to a select few. But what's so fascinating, and this is really the core of it, is that this isn't magic. It isn't even necessarily intuition, not in the mystical sense we often mean.
So what is it?
It is a mechanical, learned skill.
Mechanical. That makes it sound like fixing a refrigerator or like tuning a car.
In a way, it is. I mean, think about what a clinical psychologist does, or an FBI agent, or a seasoned detective.
They're not psychics.
They're not psychics. They don't have crystal balls. They are technicians of human behavior. They're operating on a specific set of rules, patterns, and observations. And the whole idea here is that reading people is less about having a gut feeling and more about understanding the engineering of the human mind.
So if it's engineering, that means we can look at the blueprints.
That's exactly, we can look at the blueprints.
Which brings us to this really unsettling concept that comes up right at the start, the black box.
Yes. The black box. This is the fundamental hurdle. It's the bedrock reality of all social interaction.
It's kind of an existential nightmare when you really sit with it.
It's a little existential, yeah.
Yeah.
The black box concept basically just acknowledges a hard biological truth.
Which is
You can never, ever truly know what is happening inside someone else's head.
never.
Never. The mind of another person is sealed off. We are all trapped in our own subjective experience. You know your thoughts, you know your feelings, you know the history of every scar you have.
Yeah.
But everyone else,
A complete mystery.
a mystery wrapped in skin.
So we're essentially just guessing. We're all just walking around making assumptions about each other.
We are reverse engineering. That's the key.
Yeah.
Because we can't see inside the box, we have to rely entirely on the output.
The output being
The words they say, the tone of their voice, the twitch of an eyebrow, the way they're standing, even the way they breathe. We take all that external data, the output, and we try to reconstruct what must be happening inside to produce that result.
It's like seeing smoke and trying to figure out what kind of fire is burning.
Precisely. Is it a wood fire? Is it a chemical fire? Is it just steam? And the stakes here are incredibly high.
This isn't just about winning a parlor trick.
Not at all. We aren't just talking about impressing your friends at a bar by guessing who's dating whom. This matters for negotiation, for romance, for avoiding manipulation. If you can't accurately decode the output of the black box, you are flying blind in every single interaction you have.
And this creates a tension, right? Because we have to interact. We can't just give up because the box is locked.
Raquette.
We have to do business. We have to fall in love. We have to raise kids. So how do we build that bridge? The material talks about something called theory of mind.
Right. Theory of mind is the psychological term for our ability, or maybe our attempt, to build a model of someone else's reality.
A model.
It's the human desire to say, okay, if I were in their situation with their background, feeling those emotions, what would I be thinking?
So it's a simulation. We're running a simulation of them in our own heads.
It is a simulation. It's a model. And think about what a model is, like a model airplane or a blueprint of a house.
It's a simplification. It's never the real thing.
Never. It's a representation.
So we are all just walking around carrying these little architectural blueprints of everyone we meet.
Exactly. And the goal, and this is absolutely crucial, isn't to find perfect truth. You will never know perfect truth about another person.
That's impossible.
It's impossible. The goal is to make the best guess based on the highest quality data available. The problem is most of us are using terrible data,
Or we're just making it up.
or we're making it up entirely.
Mm-hmm.
We look at a machine, let's go back to the engineer analogy, and we see a light blinking. If you don't know how the machine works, you might think, oh, pretty light. Maybe it means the machine is happy.
Right.
But if you're an engineer, you know that blinking light means the pressure valve is about to blow and you need to evacuate the building.
Two completely different interpretations.
And we are trying to become the engineer. We want to infer function from operation.
But most of us think we're already engineers. That's the funny part. I feel like almost everyone I know claims to be a good judge of character.
Oh, absolutely. It is the universal vanity. It's like asking people if they're good drivers,
Everyone says they're above average.
which is statistically impossible.
Right. I can spot a liar a mile away. I knew he was bad news the moment he walked in.
We love to believe we have this innate radar.
But we probably don't.
We really don't.
We probably do. Statistically, humans are terrible at it. And the reason we think we're so good at it is our old friend, confirmation bias.
Ah, I love confirmation bias. Well, I hate it, but I love talking about it.
It's the brain's way of patting itself on the back.
It really is. It's self-congratulation disguised as insight.
It is. Here's how it works. You meet someone, let's call him Dave. You get a vibe. Maybe you think Dave is a bit shady. Maybe he reminds you of an uncle you didn't like, or he wears a cologne that triggers a bad memory.
So your brain has already decided.
Your brain decides Dave is untrustworthy.
Poor Dave. He hasn't even done anything yet.
Exactly. But now the filter is up. 3 months later, Dave is 5 minutes late to a meeting, and your brain goes,
Huh. I knew it. Dave is disrespectful. He's unreliable. I am a genius of perception. You collect the evidence that proves you right.
but what about the 10 times Dave was early, or the time he stayed late to help you fix the printer?
What about the fact that everyone was late that day because of a massive traffic jam?
We conveniently forget all of that. We just delete it.
We edit it out of the narrative, we delete the misses, and we highlight the hits. So we walk around with this completely inflated sense of our own accuracy.
And we say things like, I used to think X about them, but I was wrong, but we treat that as like a rare exception,
Exactly.
not the rule.
It's like we have a rigged scorecard in our heads.
We do. And that rigged scorecard keeps us from actually learning how to read people because we think we already know how.
And then, of course, there's the internet. The listicle trap.
Yes. 5 telltale signs of lying.
Number 3 will shock you.
We crave these lists because we want a dictionary. We want a simple one-to-one translation guide where X always means Y. If they cross their arms, they're closed off. If they touch their neck, they're nervous. The classic one mentioned in all the material, and I see this in movies constantly, is the eyes. Looking up and to the left.
Yes, the liars look left. Myth. It is incredibly pervasive. You see it in police procedurals. You see it in spy thrillers.
What's the theory behind it again?
The idea is that if you ask someone a question and their eyes dart up and to the left, they're accessing the creative or visual construction part of their brain.
Meaning they're making up a lie, inventing an image.
Right. Whereas looking up and to the right supposedly accesses memory, meaning they're recalling the truth. It sounds so scientific, doesn't it? Visual construction centers.
It does, but in reality.
In reality, it's largely nonsense. It had been debunked many times.
So what are they doing?
They might just be looking at the ceiling or a fly. Or maybe that's just how they process information when they're thinking hard about the truth. I know that when I'm trying to remember exactly what date a specific event happened, I look up and to the left.
So if I'm interrogating you and I'm using the listicle method,
You would convict me of lying when I was actually just trying to be precise. If you base your judgment on that one single signal, oh, he looked left, he's a liar, you aren't reading people.
you're just misreading them.
Misreading them based on a cheat sheet that doesn't work.
It's lazy analysis.
It's incredibly lazy. And it's dangerous because it gives you this false confidence. You think you've cracked the code, but you're actually just projecting meaning onto random noise.
And this leads us to the bigger problem of objectivity. Because it's not just that we're reading the signals wrong, it's that we might be seeing a different reality altogether.
Yes.
There's this great example of the cousin at the party.
Right. This illustrates the subjectivity of observation perfectly. So the scenario is, you tell a political joke at a party. You walk away thinking, my cousin loved that. He was laughing. He was into it.
A total success.
And then another person, your partner, comes up to you and says, wow, your cousin was really offended. He was frowning the whole time.
How does that happen? I mean, how do two people look at the exact same face and see two completely opposite emotions?
Because we're not just cameras. We live in separate realities. We're filtering the output through our own biases, our own history, and our own focus. Maybe you were focused on his mouth, which was smiling politely.
while my partner was focused on his eyes.
Maybe the other observer was focused on his eyes, which were crinkled in annoyance.
Or maybe I just wanted him to like the joke so badly that's all I could see.
Exactly. Confirmation bias again. You filtered the data before it even hit your conscious mind.
And this brings up the statistics on communication, which are honestly staggering. The 7-38-55 rule.
The Moravian rule. It's famous, but it's often misunderstood. It breaks down how we convey feelings and attitudes. It's not about conveying factual information.
Right, it's about emotion. Let's unpack the numbers.
Okay, so 7% is the actual spoken word, the text itself.
7%. That is nothing. That is a rounding error in a conversation.
It's negligible. If you and I are having a conversation about how we feel, the words are the very tip of the iceberg.
So what's the rest?
38% is the tone of voice, how you say it, the pitch, the speed, the timbre, the volume.
And the other 55%, the massive majority, is body language. The face, the posture, the gestures.
So if I'm just listening to the words, if I'm just reading the transcript of a conversation, I am missing 93% of the data.
That's terrifying. And this is why misunderstandings are so rampant, especially now in the digital age.
Oh, absolutely.
We strip away the 55% and the 38%, and we're just left with the 7% on a screen.
It's why email wars happen. It's why text messages get misinterpreted. You read a sentence and it sounds aggressive because you can't hear the soft tone or see the relaxed posture.
But even in person, we have a tendency to over-index on the words, right?
We do. We're trained in school to listen to the text. We listen to what someone says, I'm fine, really, I'm happy for you. And we actively ignore the tightness in their jaw or the flatness of their tone that's just screaming, I am absolutely devastated.
We're listening to the lyrics and ignoring the music.
That is a perfect way to put it. The music tells you the emotional truth. The lyrics are often just social filler. People lie with words all the time. It is very, very hard to lie with your tone and your body at the same time.
Okay, so if we want to get better at this, if we want to move from I have a hunch to I have a hypothesis, we need to start looking at the mechanics of analysis.
Exactly.
We need to stop guessing and start observing. And the first mechanic is context.
Context is king. Without context, data is useless. A piece of data without context is just noise.
This goes right back to the looking up and to the left thing. An isolated data point means nothing.
Exactly. Let's take the Freudian slip.
Oh, I love a good Freudian slip, where you mean to say one thing, but your subconscious betrays you, and you say what you really mean.
That's the popular interpretation, right? If someone says, my ex-wife, instead of my current wife, we immediately think, aha, he's still in love with her. Or he hates his current marriage, the subconscious has spoken.
But maybe he's just tired.
Maybe he hasn't slept in 24 hours. Maybe he just saw a photo of his ex-wife on social media and the name was primed in his brain. Maybe he's stressed. If you don't look at the context, is this person exhausted? Are they under cognitive load? You will misinterpret the slip as this deep psychological reveal when it's really just a wiring glitch.
The brain is a machine, and machines glitch when they overheat. It doesn't always have to mean something profound.
Right. And then there's cultural context. This is huge, especially in the globalized world. You absolutely cannot read people in a vacuum. You have to ask, where are they from? What is their dictionary?
The eye contact example is the one that always trips people up.
It's the classic clash. In the US, Western Europe, and many parts of the West, direct eye contact is the gold standard. It signals confidence, honesty, intelligence. If you look me in the eye, I trust you.
Look at me when I'm talking to you. It's how we raise kids. It's almost aggressive.
Exactly. But take that same behavior to parts of Asia or Latin America or Africa. In a traditional Japanese context, for example, prolonged direct eye contact, especially with a superior, can be seen as aggressive. It's rude. It challenges authority. It's invasive.
So if an American businessman is negotiating with a Japanese counterpart and the Japanese businessman is looking down or looking away,
The American is thinking, he's hiding something. He's shifty. He's dishonest. He's not engaging.
and the Japanese businessman is thinking, why is this American staring me down like a predator? He has no manners.
And both of them are completely wrong.
No.
They are both applying their own cultural dictionary to a foreign language of behavior. They are misreading the output because they don't understand the operating system.
Hands in pockets is another one mentioned.
Generally, in a Western business context, hands in pockets is looked down upon. It can signal hiding or being too casual or a lack of respect. It's a low-power pose.
But again,
Yeah.
context.
Context. Is it freezing cold outside? Is the AC blasting in the conference room? Is the person incredibly shy and using it as a self-soothing mechanism? You have to move your mental framework from what did they do to what is acting upon them.
What is acting upon them? I like that. It forces you to look at the environment, not just the person.
You have to treat the environment as an active participant in the behavior.
Right.
If someone is sweating, are they lying, or is it 90 degrees in the room?
Yeah.
If someone is shouting, are they angry, or is the construction work outside just really loud?
Okay, so we have context. We're looking at the weather, the culture, the situation, but we can't just analyze every single twitch and blink individually or we'd go crazy.
You'd be paralyzed.
Right. We need a way to filter the noise. This is where the rule of clusters comes in.
This is the antidote to the listicle trap. You're looking for patterns, not single discrepancies.
Rule of 5.
Right. The text suggests a rule of thumb. If a person does one unusual thing, say they scratch their nose while answering a question, it is noise. It means nothing. Their nose might just itch.
Ignore the itch.
Ignore the itch. But if, in the span of a short conversation, they scratch their nose, then shuffle their feet, then clear their throat, then look away, and then cross their arms.
Now we have a cluster.
Now we have a cluster. And a cluster is data. 1 point is a dot. 5 points is a line. You can draw a trend from a cluster.
So we need to be data collectors. We can't just jump on the first thing we see.
We need to be like Sherlock Holmes. Think about how Holmes works. He doesn't look at a muddy boot and immediately say, he's a murderer.
Ow.
He looks at the mud, the type of clay, the wear on the sole, the stride length, and the weather. He builds a whole constellation of evidence. We need to treat social interaction like a crime scene.
A crime scene where the crime is hidden emotion.
Exactly. You are investigating the hidden emotion. And to do that, you need to know what the scene looked like before the crime happened. Which leads us to the most important concept in behavioral analysis, the absolute bedrock. Baseline.
The baseline. This is the person's normal.
Yes. You cannot know if someone is acting strangely if you don't know how they act normally.
Yeah.
You have to establish the control group first.
There's this great example of the flirty versus friendly trap. I think a lot of listeners will relate to this one. I certainly do.
Oh, it's a classic heartbreaker, isn't it? Imagine you meet a guy at a coffee shop. He's making intense eye contact. He's smiling, he's leaning in, he touches your arm when he laughs.
I'm thinking, okay, this is happening. He is so into me. I am charming. This is basically a date.
Naturally, those are all universal signals of interest. But, and here's the baseline problem, what if that is just how he is?
What if he does that with the barista and his
Isn't it?
boss
Yeah.
and his grandmother?
If that is his baseline, if he is a naturally effusive, tactile, eye contact heavy person, then his behavior towards you means absolutely nothing.
Oh, that's crushing.
It is statistically insignificant. It hurts, but it's true. You're misreading the signal because you haven't established the control group. You need to see him interact with other people. If he treats everyone like that, you're just part of the crowd. But if he is normally quiet, reserved, and standoffish, if his baseline is iceberg, and then with you, he leans in and touches your arm,
It's a signal, a huge one.
then it is deviance.
Yeah.
And deviance is what we are hunting for. We are looking for the change from the baseline. That is where the information lives.
So consistency is the camouflage and change is the reveal.
Perfectly said.
Yeah.
You are looking for the break in the pattern. If a loud person goes quiet, pay attention. If a quiet person gets loud, pay attention. If a calm person starts fidgeting, pay attention. But if a fidgety person keeps fidgeting,
That's just Tuesday for them. It means nothing.
exactly.
This requires patience, though. You can't just walk into a room and judge someone in 10 seconds. You have to watch them for a while to find the baseline.
Correct. You have to suspend judgment. You have to gather data before you form a conclusion. It's a much slower process than just trusting your gut.
Now, there's a twist here, and this is where it gets really introspective. We aren't just invisible scientists observing a lab rat in a cage.
Right, we're in the cage with them.
We are influencing the baseline just by being there.
The observer paradox. In quantum physics, the act of observing a particle changes the particle's behavior. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle.
And in social dynamics,
The act of observing a person changes the person's behavior.
the job interview scenario in the text illustrates this perfectly.
It does. Let's set the scene. You are the interviewer. A young woman comes in. She's sitting on the very edge of her seat. She's stuttering a bit. Her hands are clasped together so tight her knuckles are white. She's giving short, clipped answers.
Okay, so interpretation A, she's insecure, she's nervous, she lacks confidence, maybe she's hiding something, she's a bad fit for a high-pressure job.
That is the standard I'm a good judge of character analysis.
Yeah.
You look at the output and you judge the machine. But let's apply the observer paradox. Let's look at yourself.
Me, the interviewer.
You, the interviewer.
Yeah.
Are you 6'2"? Do you have a deep, booming voice? Are you frowning because you're reading her resume and concentrating? Are you sitting way back with your arms crossed in a power pose?
Yeah.
Are you checking your watch?
So she might not be a generally nervous person. She might just be reacting to me being an intimidating person.
Exactly. You are the stimulus causing the reaction. If you don't factor yourself into the equation, you are misattributing the cause. You think that behavior is her trait. She is nervous, but it's actually an interaction effect. She is intimidated by me.
That is a huge blind spot.
It is the biggest blind spot there is. We tend to think of ourselves as neutral observers, as cameras just recording the scene.
Whoa.
But we aren't cameras. We are actors in the scene. We carry gravity. We distort the space around us.
And it goes deeper than just our physical presence. It's about projection, the baggage we bring into the room.
Yes. If you were recently lied to, maybe you had a bad breakup, or a business partner scammed you, you were walking around with a pair of liar-tinted glasses.
Then you're on high alert.
You're hypervigilant. You're scanning for deception everywhere.
So you start to see lies where there aren't any.
You see a stutter and you think, lie. You see someone look away and you think, deceit. You hear a pause and you think, fabrication. But really, you're just seeing your own recent trauma reflected back at you.
It's the roundabout discovery.
Yes. Sometimes, when we think we're analyzing others, we're actually just uncovering our own fears, our own biases, and our own insecurities.
So why do I think everyone is judging me?
Maybe because you are judging everyone. Why do I think everyone is angry? Maybe because you are carrying unresolved anger.
So before we can even begin to read anyone else, we have to audit our own lens.
You have to calibrate the instrument, and the instrument is you. You have to constantly ask, what mood am I in? What are my biases? Am I hungry? Am I tired? If you don't account for the state of the instrument, the measurement you take is worthless.
Let's get back to that job interview for a second, because there was another layer to it regarding ambiguous signals that I found really interesting. The candidate starts bad-mouthing her old boss.
Right. She says something like, my old boss was so demanding about time, he micromanaged everything. I really prefer to work independently.
Red flag. Sirens going off in your head.
The knee-jerk reaction is, red flag. She hates authority. She's a complainer. She's difficult. She's going to be a nightmare to manage. End of interview.
But if we apply the baseline and nuance view...
You dig a little deeper. You ask about her history. The text mentions asking about her university days. And she reveals she did independent research projects. She worked closely with a supervisor she really respected. She has a history of delivering amazing projects on time when she's left alone to do her work.
So the baseline data suggests she can work hard and respect authority.
It suggests she is a high performer who just needs autonomy. The bad-mouthing wasn't insubordination. It was a statement of work-style preference. She is telling you, I work best when you trust me to do my job.
And if you stick to the red flag listicle view, you reject a great candidate.
And if you use the nuanced, data-driven view, you might just hire a star. It all comes down to suspending judgment. Suspend judgment until the full picture forms. That should be the mantra for all of this.
We've talked a lot about the theory, but can we actually measure this stuff? Is there a test? Because the sources mention something called the reading the mind in the eyes test.
Yes, it was developed by Simon Baron-Cohen,
who is the cousin of Sacha Baron Cohen.
Which is always a fun fact to drop at parties. Borat's cousin is a leading researcher in autism and social intelligence at Cambridge University.
So what is this test? How does it work?
It's deceptively simple. You're shown a series of photographs, but the photos are cropped so you can only see the person's eyes.
That's it, just the eyes.
Just the eyes. No mouth, no forehead, no context, no body language. And you are given 4 words, complex emotions, and you have to pick which one best matches the eyes.
So it's not just happy or sad?
No, it's subtle. It's things like playful, terrified, sarcastic, contemplative, flirtatious, despondent.
Wow, that sounds really hard just from the eyes.
It is hard. It's a direct test of social intelligence. Can you infer complex mental states from minimal visual data? Can you read the microexpressions of the orbicularis oculi muscle, the muscle around the eye?
And what's a typical score? How do people do?
Well, there are 36 images in the common version of the test. The average person gets about 26 right.
26 out of 36. That means even the average person, who probably thinks they are a great judge of character, is getting 10 wrong.
That's nearly a third. That is a significant error rate.
And what happens if you score lower?
Scores below 22 have been shown to correlate with autism spectrum traits. It suggests difficulty in intuitively mapping those external cues to internal states. It suggests a theory of mind deficit.
But the really interesting thing here is the implication for so-called socially genius people. Even they miss some.
Even the best miss some.
Yeah.
No one gets 36 out of 36 consistently. And we should remember, this test has limitations. It relies heavily on vocabulary. If you don't know the difference between skeptical and cynical or despondent and disappointed, you might fail the question even if you understand the emotion intuitively.
And cultural biases, I imagine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The eyes are mostly Caucasian in the original test. But the takeaway still stands. We are generally less adept at reading people than we think we are.
And that humility is the first step to improvement.
It has to be. If you think you already score 36 out of 36, you won't bother learning. You'll just keep trusting your gut. But if you realize, wow, I totally missed the sarcasm in those eyes, you start paying attention. You start treating it like a skill to be learned, not a gift you were born with.
So is this a fixed trait? Are some people just born with the sixth sense and the rest of us are doomed to be socially awkward forever?
No, that is the good news. Social intelligence is plastic. It is a learned skill, just like playing tennis or learning to code. It can be improved.
And there's a model for that, the test, train, retest model.
Exactly. You take a baseline assessment, maybe take the eyes test online. You see where you stand. Then you train. You start applying the models we've discussed today. You start consciously looking for clusters. You start establishing baselines. You start checking your context.
You practice active observation.
You stop listening only to the words and you start watching the music.
And
then, months later, you retest. And almost invariably, perception improves. You start noticing the micro-expressions you missed before. You start hearing the subtle tonal shifts. You get better at not projecting your own baggage onto other people.
you essentially upgrade your own software.
You do. You build a better theory of mind model. You increase the resolution of your internal simulation of other people.
So let's bring this all together. We started with this idea of a superpower, the magical friend who just knows things. But we've ended up with something that feels more like a discipline.
It is a discipline.
Yeah.
It requires effort. It requires moving from gut feeling, which is really just lazy and biased thinking, to methodical analysis.
And we have those 4 pillars mentioned in the source to guide us, a kind of checklist.
Right, the checklist. First, the historical element. Where does this behavior come from? What is their baseline? What is their culture? Second, the mechanisms. What psychological or social drivers are pushing this person? Are they tired? Are they stressed? Are they insecure?
Then the outcome.
How does this behavior affect the environment?
Yeah.
What are they trying to achieve with this behavior? And finally, triggers. What set this off? Was it me? Was it the heat? Was it a word I just said?
It sounds like a pre-flight checklist for a pilot.
It should be. Before you judge, run the checklist. Before you accuse someone of lying, run the checklist. Before you decide a date is going badly, run the checklist.
And connecting it all back to the self, that seems to be the ultimate key here.
You cannot read others until you can read yourself. You are the lens through which all this data passes. If the lens is dirty, the image will be distorted. If you're insecure, you will see judgment everywhere. If you're angry, you will see aggression everywhere. The ultimate act of reading other people is actually an act of self-regulation and self-awareness.
The observer is the observed.
In many ways, yes. To understand the black box over there, you first have to understand the black box right here inside your own head.
You know, what I love about this is that the core idea sounds lonely at first, that we can never truly know anyone. But the attempt itself seems beautiful.
It is. We can never truly enter the black box.
Yeah.
I can never know exactly what it feels like to be you. But the effort to build that model, to gather the data, to listen to the 55% and the 38%, to suspend my judgment and run the checklist, that isn't just a strategy.
It's more than that.
It's empathy.
It's the difference between staring at a wall and actually trying to climb over it.
Exactly. And when you make that effort, not only do you become better at negotiation or spotting lies, but you also build better, stronger connections.
Yeah.
Because even if you can't perfectly understand someone, the fact that you are trying, people feel that. They feel seen. And sometimes feeling seen is more important than being perfectly understood.
That's a really powerful thought. We're trying to read people like a book, but maybe the point is just to show them that we're interested in their story.
I think that's a perfect way to put it.